All right, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. We've got the log raised bed here and ready to finish it up today. So got a few easier cuts. They won't be quite as deep. There might be more smaller cuts and notching and things like that for the next couple tiers here, but it should be go a little bit faster than the ground level, especially with what we've learned so far. Got a few little things that we need to kind of fix up a little bit. I might raise this log up just a little bit, just put a wedge underneath it or shim underneath it, and we may notch this off or cut this off a little bit because this log gets way bigger on this end than it is down here, and just do a little bit of kind of, you know, cut the knots off here and make things kind of sit level, and then we'll start cutting some saddles on the logs here. So we're going to cut a saddle on the top of this one. We probably don't even need to really saddle this one, and then down there we'll saddle, you know, these ones and get those just to sit down level. And then we'll get the two side pieces, this piece right here and that big piece right there. We're going to set those back on the sides here, and we'll make the last layer of this thing. So the work doesn't end here. We've got at least one more kind of step to do to get this thing completed and ready to plant. And that is, once we're done with it, of course, we need to fill it. And before we fill it, I've got some interesting things we're going to do to kind of prepare this thing for heating and some other things. So you have to stick around for the next video to see what that's all about and how we're going to fill this. We're going to do something a little different than I've ever done here with filling this as well. So check that video out hopefully later on this week. But let's get started here and start making some adjustments and shims and start notching some stuff out and making it all fit together. So the idea with these logs, as far as I can tell, is we're going to saddle this one right here. We're going to notch this out so it sits just flat right down on here, and then it fills in this gap. Now the gap's not even all the way along, so I'm going to have to kind of average it out. But the idea is figure out what your gap is. So I've got about 1.5 inches of gap here. I don't want to go too far. I'd rather have this not touch here and have it sit firm on the saddle than have, this end up being touching here and resting the log on this part, and then the saddle, is lifted up. And so I'm going to start with 1 inch, and the best I can tell, if I had a scribe, what I could do is just take the scribe and basically run it at 1 inch and just make a mark all the way along the log like that, just right at 1 inch on both sides. And then I can take my chainsaw and chisel or whatever and just, cut right down to that. Now, I'm not going to use a chisel here. We're just going to use a chainsaw and rough it out. I'm not too worried about how perfect this is. So Well, we're not going to be opening a log cabin building business anytime soon, but mission accomplished, I think. And sitting down there pretty good. Had to take a few high spots off and knots off the top log there, but everything fits down pretty good. I overnotched that just a little bit, but it's all right. It's all locked together. Because this one especially, I had to notch the end log out just because the way that log was formed. This was the wider end of that piece of wood on the bottom here. So this end stuck way up, so it had to be shaved off anyway. But it's all locked together pretty good. I may have to run a lag in to each of these corners. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see once I get the top piece on there. I think once I get the top one on there, it's going to lock together pretty good. So just have to do the other two center supports, and then we'll get the big pieces on. All right, well, all three of the center supports are in, and they turned out pretty good. I mean, there's some gaps in that here and there, but logs aren't straight, so I think that's pretty good. I did have to shave the bottoms off kind of flat on some of them just because there's all those knots and curves and all that good stuff, but I'm happy with it. I think that'll lock together pretty good. Next is moving these big ones. Now these aren't as big as the bottom ones, so they'll be a little easier to move, and I'll use the strap like I did before so I can use my legs and not strain my back too much. And I think we'll be able to lift these up here no problem. Well, these ones certainly aren't the straightest logs in the world, are they? This one I had to twist around to just get it where it'll kind of be straight. It's pretty close anyway. So I think this will work out pretty good. I definitely think I've got plenty of log on this end to saddle these off. So we'll do a nice big deep notch here. So this sits all the way down there. It's about a 4 or 5 inch saddle we're going to do on both of these back here. This center one's quite far towards the inside here. It's just the way this log is curved. I can't get it to sit any other way, so it might just be how it is. But I think I've got plenty of log here to saddle this one down here. So again, about 4 inches on both of those. But down here on the thin end, I just don't think I have enough. I don't have enough log here to saddle this one. It would go through the whole piece of wood in order to make up that 4 or 5 inch gap there. Plus we've got this log bowing up right here in this area, so it's going to have to go down quite far deep, and I'm going to have to probably shave off some of this and make this a little flatter. But so what I'm going to have to do on this one is do a notch like I did with the bottom log. So I'll notch this out, not too far. I have to be careful. Notch this out just maybe an inch or two right here, and then we'll probably have to do a saddle, you know, or another notch, almost, you know, good halfway through that, and we'll see how close we can get this gap. It might still be a little gap there, but that's all right. Well, it's all together. This is looking pretty good. So I got a little gap here and there, but like I said, not much I can do about that unless I shave the bottom half of all these totally flat, which I could do, but I'm not really worried about it. The dirt will fill that in. It's not gonna leak out or anything, so totally fine. The only thing is, so because the logs were a lot thicker on this end, so this end ended up being about 16 inches deep, and because I notched those out, it's nice and flat right across top. I like that. But the other end down here, because these are smaller logs, and I probably should have done this a little bit differently, but this is only about 12 inches deep right here. And so I'm thinking I've got this extra piece of 6 foot long thin piece of pine here, or spruce, and I think I can notch this out and make this sit down in here fairly flat and make this end kind of level also, so it'll be kind of flat and level on each end. It's just bothering me that it's not equal on each side. And also the center I'm not worried about, because I can actually bury that right over with dirt, so you won't even see the centerpiece. So that I can leave as it is. But I think I'm gonna just notch out one more. So I gotta take those legs out, and I don't want to hit those with my chainsaw. And we'll notch this out and just square this end up a little bit. done. Oh, that's much nicer. Definitely glad I did that. So that locks it in pretty good, and from side to side and everything else. So I like the notched top. Actually, it works out a lot better than just the saddle connections, because the saddles can, you know, the logs can slide from side to side. But now that they're notched like that, this is locked in this way and this way on the top. So just on the corners, I think that's good. Plus those lag screws that I put in on the corners here, I put one here and one there. It went through that log, this log, and into the next one. So it really locked this thing in and locked it all together. The middle here, I really would like to get at least 2 more lags. I want to try to pull this one out a little bit this way and lag it in, just because this log was pretty bent. But hey, this thing's gonna work really well. I did hit my post with the chainsaw a couple times, adding some character to the posts. Yeah, it'll buff right out. Well, the construction of the raised bed is done, and I'm really happy with it. Actually, it turned out really well. You know, for just a bunch of hacked up chainsaw together logs, I think it's really stable, and it seems to be locked together pretty good. So I'm not concerned at all filling it with dirt. I actually can't wait to get this thing filled up. But before I fill it, I've got another step, the secret project that we'll reveal on the next video. Something that will tie this all together. For those of you who are wondering, is this really worth it? What's the point of all this? You know, you got drug all these logs in here, cut down 6 trees and all this stuff. You know, why'd you do that instead of just building get some 2x6s and build a raised bed? It'd be a lot easier. Yeah, you're right. It would be. It would cost more money. So far, this project hasn't cost me anything other than, I guess, these lag screws, but I already had them. So, and some fuel for the chainsaw. I actually filled the chainsaw up 3 times, so it took 3 tanks of gas on the chainsaw. That includes cutting the trees down and doing all the work in here, which is about 3/4 of a gallon, maybe half a gallon of gas, something like that. It's not much. So, you know, essentially very low budget anyway. Did it take more work? Yes, it definitely did. This is, I think, my 4th day working on this. Some days longer than others. Today I've only been out here a couple hours. You know, most of the days I worked in the greenhouse just for a few hours, couple hours, maybe 2-3 hours each time. I think it was about 4 or 5 hours the one day I was out cutting trees down and pulling them up to the greenhouse, so that took a little longer. But so it's definitely taken some time. But when we homestead, when we farm, and this is my job right now to do these things and care for this stuff, I'm trading the time I would spend working at another job to make money, to buy wood to build a raised bed. Instead, I'm trading my time to come out here and build this myself with resources that I have available. And that's just the trade-off here. But there's always a reason behind everything. I went with big logs and all this for a reason. So you'll find out on the next video about that. So let me know what you guys think of the giant log raised bed, 24-25 feet of grow space here, long and about 4 or 5 feet inside, about 4 feet I think it is. You know, given the logs are different widths in different places, about 4 feet. So it's quite a bit of space. About 16 to 18 inches deep, and so I can get a lot of soil in here. I can grow potatoes in here, I can grow tomato, I can grow anything in here, really. There's no limit to what I can grow. Looking forward to growing some stuff. Cold weather coming up. It's only gonna be a high of 12 degrees in a few days. So man, it's cold finally here in Michigan. Let me know what you guys think, guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed to the madness that goes on here at the SSL Family Farm, we'd love to have you hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it, of course, to get notifications on when we post new content. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.